From 125s, Kudrowski, Ty Davis, Mike Healy back there in third. Denny Stevenson and Scott Brown round out the top 5. Now, the point standings, only 9 points separate Kudrowski and Scott Brown, so theoretically all of them have a shot at victory. That'll be decided in the second moto coming up. But right now, we've got Moto 1 for the 500cc pro riders, Steve Evans. And this is going to be a hot one, too, I'll guarantee you.
I'll tell you what, Brock, these bikes have so much power, you can plow fields with them. That is number 21, Billy Frank. He is a Yamaha support rider, not a full factory pro, but he does get factory help. He's from Orange, California, currently number 7 in the CMC. This is Tommy Watts, a Kawasaki rider. He is from Shelbyville, Kentucky, number 18T, and he is right now number 1 in this class.
This is number 1 in the world, theoretically. Jackie Vimont from France, he carries the world championship title. Although here at Carlsbad, he's just another rider. It's so competitive in this kind of racing in Southern California that Jackie's here to kind of learn how they do it. This is 14B, Todd Goat Brecker from right here in California. Earlier, Steve had a chance to talk with Todd.
Today in the 500cc class, we have a return of a former champion. 3-time Golden State Nationals winner Goat Brecker is back after a 2-year layoff. First of all, welcome back, and what's prompted your return, Goat?
Well, thank you, Steve. I come back to make an attempt to win the 500 World Championship in Europe, and that's my reason for riding the Golden State again. I like to win it 4 times, and this will be 4 times if I can pull it off.
Tell us what a rider is up against on a 500 machine as compared to the smaller 125.
Well, it's obvious the weight is a big factor, but mainly the horsepower on a 500. You've got to have a lot of throttle control, and you do on a 125, but it's just a complete different style of riding, and your momentum don't have to be near as fast on a 500. Just the weight and the horsepower, I'd say, it's the biggest.
What about shifting, braking?
Well, you have to go in a lot slower on a 500 because of the weight. You can't get stopped as quick. And coming out, 125 is more momentum, but the 500 gets going a lot quicker.
You're a big guy. A handicap at all?
No, not a handicap. I would say in stadium race it's a handicap, but outdoors, I think it's an advantage on a 500.
Need all the muscle you can get.
Yeah, I definitely do.
Good luck to you.
Thank you very much, Steve.
Goat is back after 2 injury-plagued seasons that cost him his factory ride. He is now on a private team and back for revenge, believe me.
All right, here is the start, and it is a tense moment as they blast into turn number 1 on these high-powered machines. They have more speed here than any other class in motocross.
All right, Brecker got a beautiful start, launched early, and is right up among the leaders. Tommy Watts is actually leading it, but Brecker is challenging for the lead already, Steve.
You know, we talked earlier about the 6-speed transmissions in the 125. These 500 bikes, Brock, have so much power, they don't need that 6-speed. These are 5 speeds, and they sometimes don't even use all of those.
Yeah, they're just monster power. You probably run one around. You and I could run one around here in about 2nd gear and be scare ourselves to death, right?
Oh, absolutely. And this is a truly international field. Not only do we have Jackie Vimont, we talked about at the gate, but also number 4, Kevin Astey is in there, and he's a KTM factory rider from England.
Watch these guys. These guys are actually turning in midair. This little jump is in the middle of a right-hand corner, which adds a little bit to the challenge. They take it routinely. Here is the race for the lead. 18, Tommy Watts. 14, Goat Brecker. Now, it's interesting, Steve. There are 5 Kawasaki's among the leaders, only 1 Honda, and that's Goat Brecker.
Well, Kawasaki for years, Brock, has really concentrated on the development of their 500. The other factories like to work on the 125s because they sell far more of those. But Kawasaki likes to have a good range of motorcycles, and it pays off for them.
Well, Steve, here's a race for 5th, and it involves another brand. That is Mike Larson, 14, Mark Decker, 305, and Kawasaki. But Englishman Mervyn Anstey is on a KTM. That's an Austrian bike.
And look at him fly right here. That is Mervyn Anstey taking the 5th spot.
And look, there's number 14, Mike Larson, moving past Mark Decker on the 305 to take over that 6th spot.
Well, you don't have any trouble picking the Englishman Mervyn Anstey 4M out of the pack on that refrigerator white KTM bike.
As they sailed over the Devil's Drop, the final leap before the lap is completed. And there's your race for the lead. And look at Goat Brecker make that challenge on the outside of the hairpin. He takes the lead. Goat Brecker moves by Tommy Watts and is flying. In fact, he just blew past Watts, Steve.
Well, you know, Goat just used tremendous physical strength there, and of course all the power in that monster Honda. What an impressive pass that was. And look at him just streak away.
Absolutely running away right now. Goat Brecker back to prove a point after a 2-year absence to show some folks that they were on to take away his factory ride.
Well, Goat used that first lap to just learn the track, see where the problem spots were.
Looking for a little peace and quiet? Well, just a few miles down the road on Interstate 5 from Carlsbad is the Quail Botanical Gardens. Nice and peaceful. Not so, though, at Carlsbad Raceway, where they're going at it in the 500cc Pro class.
And Brock, that is especially true in the battle for second spot. Gordon Ward, number 27 on the Kawasaki, is in second. Just behind him, 18T Tommy Watts, also the big green machine out of Kentucky. That is the best race on the course right now. Goat Brecker continues to lead on his Honda. In fact, has extended that lead over second place Gordon Ward.
Well, you remember at the opening stages of this race, Steve, that Watts had the lead, and then finally Brecker flew by him, and now Gordon Ward has got him as well. So the pace of this race is starting to establish itself as Ward and Tommy Watts make the doubles drop. Remember, though, Steve, earlier we saw Mike Craig in 125 fall while he wasn't even being challenged. So there's never an easy part of this racetrack.
No, and riders will tell you that it's harder to ride out front than maybe even in second place because you don't have anybody setting that pace for you. Good little scrap here for the 5th spot. For 14, Mike Larson, 45X Tyson Boland on his Kawasaki, and 21, Billy Frank on a Yamaha. Now, Billy Frank had a bad start. He was 11th at the turn number 1 and has moved himself all the way up to the 7th spot. Now, just in front of Billy Frank in that 6th position is 45X Tyson Boland. Now, Tyson is part of a brother act in motocross racing. His younger brother, Talon, finished 6th in the 125 moto we saw a little earlier on. After that race, Brock had a chance to get the brothers together and talk about their racing career.
Well, Steve, I'm with the only brother act here at Carlsbad, Tyson and Talon Boland from up in Sacramento. And I guess I got to talk to you, Tyson. You're the senior citizen and also riding on a little bit bigger class of bike than Talon. How tough is he?
Talon's real tough. He just moved up to the pros this year. He's just 16 and he rides really good. He's smooth and fast.
Where do you guys ride when you're not down here? Do you race a lot up around Sacramento?
We don't do too much local stuff. We'll be doing the Supercrosses and the Nationals after this.
Okay. Well, Talon, I understand you ran the 80s last year and then just moved up into the bigger bikes this season. How's it going for you so far?
Well, it's going really good. On the 80s, I didn't do too good, and then I broke my leg on them, and I had to get off them, and I moved up to 125, and ever since then, I've been dominating everything I race. This here today is pretty much my first big race on my 125, and I did pretty good. I got a 6 my first moto. I'm looking for a little better score the next time and be right in the top 2 or 3.
Well, we'll sure be watching in that second moto, and best of luck to you too, Tyson.
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Well, we got a terrific race going on for that 3rd position. Number 14, Mike Larson. Just behind him in 4th is 45X Tyson Boland.
What a race as they wheel down this little hill and get set up for the corner. That is a slower motorcycle being lapped. Moynihan, number 4, as he gets out of the way to let Billy Frank on 21 through to take over 3rd. Billy Frank riding hard now, Steve.
And if you're wondering what happened to Gordon Ward, number 27, that was running 2nd, well, he had a flat tire and is out of this thing.
Well, Steve, that 45X, that, of course, is Tyson Boland, one of the Boland guys, kids from Sacramento, California, hanging on right on the tail of Billy Frank. Although Frank appears to have the bit in his teeth right now. He is trying to catch up on that second-place rider sitting in the 3rd spot, but he's got a clear racetrack ahead of him, no traffic around him for the first time, really, since he started this race.
The 2nd-place rider right now behind Goat Brecker is Tommy Watts, number 18, on his Kawasaki. You know, Brock, these heavier 500cc machines wear out the riders sooner than the lightweight, high-flying 125s we saw earlier. There's some tired arms out there already.
No question. They're heavy and they're powerful, lots of torque. So we'll see how Billy Frank does as he runs after the leaders here at Carlsbad, California. Stay with us. We're going to be right back.
Welcome back to Carlsbad, California, where the first moto of the 500cc pros continues. Goat Brecker on his Honda is still out in front. Tommy Watts, Billy Frank running 2nd and 3rd. But Brock, a real international battle for the 5th position. Number 14, Mike Larson, the American, and 2V, Jacques Boumard from Paris, France.
Absolutely. These guys are been going at it. We are heading into the last lap, Steve. So if Vimont and 2V there you see him right behind Mike Larson, is going to get by. He's got one more lap to do it. And it doesn't look like Mike Larson has any intention of letting him by. These guys have been, look at this, though. Here comes Vimont on the outside of that hairpin. That gives him a lot of speed to carry down that little short straightaway. Hadn't been quite enough, though, to get by Larson. But he gets inside him. Can he do it? Inside that hairpin, Vimont does take over that 5th place.
Terrific to see Jackie riding so well. He is coming back from serious injuries, suffered of all places at the victory banquet after he won the 500cc World Championship. In typical French style, the curtains opened and Jackie Vimont was lowered from the ceiling on his bike in a tuxedo. One of the cables broke and dropped he and the bike 30 feet to the stage and seriously injured him.
It sure did, and he's a very, very fortunate young man that he survived, much less came back to ride as well as he's doing here today at Carlsbad, sitting in the 5th position. Jackie Vimont, the world champion 500cc rider.
You know, you could line up all these riders and just tell someone there was a Frenchman in the group, and by looking at his attire, Brock, you could tell it was Jackie Vimont.
All right, there is your leader. Goat Brecker, one more jump to negotiate doubles, drop down the little hill, across the finish line, a dominant race. And now the race for second, Steve.
Oh, and it's a good one. Tommy Watts, AT&T with Billy Frank right behind him. There's a lap rider, number 8, John Poska, kind of holding him up. Billy Frank and Tommy Watts across the line. Who's going to win it? Oh, they bump, and Billy Frank wins it by a wheel. What a battle for that second spot. A tremendous show from the big boys on the 500 bikes. Brock is with the man that did it best.
Steve with Goat Brecker did a super job. Really broke away from the pack and not a whole lot of trouble after that.
Yeah, I had a good start, and I've been working with ProCircuit quite a bit, and they've been working on my bike, and I felt good today, and hopefully I win the next one.
Any problems at all in the race?
No, everything went really good. A couple lap riders got in my way. I was kind of angry with them. I felt bad about that, but I had a good ride, and I'll win the next one.
You going to make any changes in the bike for the second moto?
Maybe a little bit stiffer. I'm bottoming out pretty hard, but I've been it's good.
Good deal. Ready to go. Okay, congratulations. Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Steve?
His father nicknamed him Goat when he was a little kid because he ate everything in sight, including the cereal box. He won it. Billy Frank was second, then Tommy Watts, Tyson Bullitt, and Jackie Vimont, the Frenchman. Now, here is how the points are assigned. Goat Brecker gets 41 points, Billy Frank 38, followed by 36, 34, 32, and so on. Remember, there's one full moto to go. It's a combined point score. Brock is with second place.
Steve, through the miracle of instant replay, you know that race was so close for second that actually Billy Frank just squeezed by about a matter of inches, and that had to be real tight. You were running real good, and then all of a sudden it just got real tight right near the end, huh?
Yeah, that lapper screwed up Tommy. I think he stalled his bike in the last lap, and I was right on his rear wheel, and then he followed that lapper into the last corner, and I went around both of them and passed them both.
Well, you guys were sort of stuck kind of at the same interval for most of the race, and then all of a sudden, you think it was a lap bike that got in his way and gave you the chance, huh?
Yeah, that last lap, I wouldn't have caught him if it wasn't for that lapper. Because he was too far ahead for me to catch him on that one lap. Okay,
what kind of changes you got in mind for the second moto?
Get a better start, so I don't have to work my way up.
That's what happened to you?
Yeah, I got a bad start, and started out about 10th, I think. And I worked my way up to second, so...
Oh, good job.
Hopefully I can take the next one.
Okay, we'll go back to work, and we'll see you later. Thanks, Billy. Good job.
Thanks.
In the background, you can hear the snarl of the 125cc pros already at the starting gate for their final moto. We'll have the start when we come back. Stay with us from Carlsbad.
9th in the first moto, not 8th. That's why he and Mike Kudrowski finished with the same point total.
And at the gate, here's the man who so far has been in command of the 500cc class. That is Goat Brecker, Riverside, California on the Honda. He won moto number 1. Second in that first moto was number 21, Billy Frank. Billy Frank, Yamaha mounted from Orange, California, hopes to reverse that finishing order if he possibly can. If he does that, remember, as in the Brooks situation, your finish in the second moto is more important, and that would break the tie. Finishing third in moto number 1 was this man from Kentucky, Tommy Watts. He has 30 points. He's a tremendous rider out of the Midwest.
And he was among the leaders for the entire distance in the first moto. Tyson Bolin finished 4th in that first moto with 34 points. He's got a little family revenge in mind. His younger brother, Talent, could only run in the 29th position in that 125cc moto. Stephen, we've got to start.
They are handlebar to handlebar. The monster machines, the 500cc bike through that turn number 1, and so far, Brock, everybody stays up. Look at this overhead shot. Unbelievable.
It is. I can't believe that those guys all made it. And Tommy Watts, Billy Frank, and Goat Brecker have already jumped out to the lead this pack through the first part of the first lap. So the heavy hitters are already running up front. They all got good starts. Remember now, if they didn't get a good start, they'd have to scramble back through this field. But we've suddenly established a pecking order. And Tommy Watts, 18T, Billy Frank, 21, and 14, Goat Brecker are up front.
And depending on finishing order, Brock, all three of those riders have the potential to be the overall winner. This could be a terrific 500 final.
There they are going up the hill. There is Tommy Watts. Right behind him, Billy Frank. And the man who won the first one, sitting in third place, number 14, Goat Brecker.
Fourth, fifth, and sixth are Mike Larson, number 14, 24, Kevin Barda, and 57, Tom Chamberlain. But Brock, remember the first moto. Goat Brecker kind of laid back a little bit the first two laps, really, before he really screwed on the power of that Honda. Maybe he's doing the same thing again.
Well, it's possible, Steve, although it looks as if Watts and Frank have put a little distance on him at this point. Certainly, Watts is showing real strength here in the early stages of this 500cc moto. And we do not see Goat Brecker in the picture. He's right back there behind Billy Frank, but at this particular moment, it's all Tommy Watts and Billy Frank in the lead here.
A Kawasaki, a Yamaha, and a Honda, all trying to control this final 500cc moto. We'll be back to Carlsbad.
I'm Brock Yates along with Steve Evans. We're in the middle of the second 500cc Pro Moto at Carlsbad. Tommy Watts, Billy Frank, Goat Brecker, Tyson Boland, and Mike Larson are all up there, but it's Watts and Frank right now going for the lead.
And the white bike we see right there, that is the Yamaha number 21 of Billy Frank. He is a few bike lengths behind Tommy Watts, but maybe of more concern to him right now is he knows behind him is the one they call the GOAT. Goat Brecker on number 14, the red Honda. So far, this is just a terrific... Oh, look at this. Billy Frank is closing in on the leader, the green Kawasaki of Tommy Watts.
Down off the doubles drop. So these three riders are breaking away from the field, and it's Billy Frank sliding underneath Tommy Watts to take the lead. Right there in front of the scoring stand, so nobody's going to doubt that lead change as Billy Frank made a beautiful pass.
You know, Tommy Watts went high intentionally in that corner, Brock, to try to use that berm to get a launch off the berm. He got the launch all right, but it wasn't what he expected, and Billy Frank snuck in there.
Well, here comes Goat Brecker to begin to challenge Tommy Watts, too. In fact, he blows right by him to take the second spot. So Goat Brecker starts to make his move. Remember, Steve, earlier you talked to Goat and he's talked about physical strength. He's a big, strong man, and it could very well begin to come into play here in this very, very rough course. And they're riding, of course, in the second moto where fatigue begins to become a factor.
And Goat Brecker, Brock, could not rest on his laurels from winning that first moto because Billy Frank was second in that initial moto. If Billy Frank wins it and Goat is second, Billy Frank is going to be the overall winner because your position, your finish in the second moto breaks the tie.
As they sail down the Carlsbad Freeway, that is Billy Frank now being challenged by Goat Brecker. Frank gets off that corner, but it's Goat Brecker who muscles his way. They bumped there a little bit. Almost gave him a little shoulder block. There they almost touch wheels. So these guys are going at it. Goat Brecker lost a little ground in that flurry, though, Steve.
Oh, he did. And, you know, after they bumped there, it's almost as if both riders said, oh, let's cool it now. Let's not take each other out of this thing. They just got to pause there for a while, collected their thoughts, and went right back onto the gas again.
Well, they've raced each other for a long time. They know each other's moves pretty well, so they're not going to do anything stupid, but it is a very aggressive kind of racing style, and you improvise all the way around here. It's not like a lot of kinds of racing where you find a line and stay to it. You improvise every inch of the way around Carlsbad.
And with these bikes, in some portions of the course, they have a surplus of power. You remember Goat talking about throttle control. And up ahead, Brock, are what motocross riders call lappers, bikes who are about to be lapped. And as we've seen in so many forms of racing, that can be a problem sometimes. But 195 Doug Schwarzer, he gives way.
Good sport there, Doug Schwarzer. And now they begin to come up on 259, Joey Tudabeni. And I would imagine that Joey is going to give way if, of course, he sees him. But in so many cases, the riders are concentrating so hard on doing their own thing that they can just inadvertently get in people's way. Here you go. They get by, but Brecker now makes a serious challenge and takes the lead.
Wow, what a move that was. He did an uphill where you could really use the power of the 500cc machine. Just incredible. You know, the GOAT, I think he was laying back, Brock. I really do.
Well, we'll find out right away because he's already moved way out on Billy Frank. And we will find out whether or not Goat Brecker, who has the power, the strength, the experience, certainly to break away. But then again, Billy Frank's no patsy. He has been around and won races and knows what he's doing here. So maybe Frank is laying back now a little bit, Steve.
Well, you talk about an incentive to win. Goat Brecker has been told by the people that are backing this privateer effort, if he can win the CMC Dodge Truck Golden State Nationals, that they'll back him in Europe later this year or next year in a quest for a world championship. Goat's got a big brass ring he's going for.
Well, I can't imagine that he wouldn't be a major factor as he does the Devil's Drop in Hine style. He's world championship material, no question about that. Brecker and Frank now running 1-2.
The field is pretty well spread out, Brock, except for these two guys. This is the fight for the 9th spot. 57 Jim Chamberlain in 9th, 8-11 Craig Davis is 10th, and they're still finding a race out there between each other. It doesn't matter what position it is, right? If you're racing, you're racing.
You're racers, and they're racing now for pride and obviously for more experience. And who's to know where Jim Chamberlain will be in a couple of years. He might be running wheel to wheel with Goat Brecker. So there we watch this race as these young men negotiate this extremely difficult course. Notice they're on the kind of dry stuff right now, but still the shadows have put some mud. There's that big muddy hole that everybody is kind of maneuvered around, and it appears the fast line is around the outside. Here they come, Chamberlain and Davis, completing yet another lap, working hard. Are they going to be tired tonight or what?
You know, you don't see as many entries in the 500 class as you do in the lighter weight bikes because they are that much harder to ride. And an awful lot of riders say, wait a minute, I think I'll stick with the 125s because the 500 bike can be intimidating except to a guy like Goat Brecker, who's out in the lead of this event.
We'll be back for the finish right after this.
We're back at Carlsbad Raceway, just north of San Diego, California, for the closing laps in the final race of the day, the 500cc Pro Class. We're looking at the race for the 9th position. Number 57, Jim Chamberlain. Number 811, Craig Davis. They were just like this when we left you. Nothing's changed. It changes now, though. Jim Chamberlain has trouble with the bike. His goggles have flown off. Everything has gone wrong. Craig Davis takes 9th.
Well, a mechanical failure there with the goggles, that's kind of rare, but it's nonetheless serious for poor Jim Chamberlain as he loses a position and a matter of pride. There is your leader, Goat Brecker, in a 14 motorcycle just flying around this Carlsbad course. Billy Frank holds on to the 2nd spot. Tommy Watts, Mike Larson, Jackie Vimon has moved up into 5th place. The French champion now sitting in the top 5.
Well, Tyson Bull at 45X was in that top 5, and you just saw him park alongside the freeway.
Yeah, tough break. So the Volan family has not had a good day here. They're going to go back to Sacramento and regroup. We'll no doubt hear more from them. As Goat Brecker holds on in the lead, going into his now on his final lap, running through some slower traffic. And it's possible that Frank, having run in a 250 preliminary, is flat too tired to compete.
It could be. He just has lap 127. Mike Hooker. Brecker right now is showing some composure, Brock. He's not, look at him right here. He's almost kind of cruising now. Doesn't want to fall down. That could cost him dearly. I'll tell you, Goat Brecker, well, if he wins this thing, he's liable to live up to his nickname and eat the trophy.
Well, he's got one more jump. There he goes, a little short shoot and a little jump over that final Devil's Drop. The flag is out. Goat Brecker wins his 2nd moto. He'll definitely go overall to the victory.
Number 14, Mike Larson has fallen. He was in the 4th spot. He looks like he's okay, but can he hold on to 5th? He's trying to get around to that line to only lose 1 position.
Well, he bump starts her and gets back underway, but not before Jackie Vimon takes over the 4th place. So Vimon, the benefactor of that little bobble, and he will carry on to finish in 4th place in this 2nd 500cc moto. Across the line, takes a look over his shoulder to see where his rival is, and he is finished. Okay, There are the final results in Moto number 2. Goat Brecker, Billy Frank, Tommy Watts, Vimon and Larson exchange places on the final lap. Overall, it's 82 points for Goat Brecker, Billy Frank 76, Tommy Watts in 3rd place, Vimon Larson. Now, with the winner, Goat Brecker, the man who won twice. Let's go to Steve.
It's been said that if you can win in motocross in California or in the United States against this competition, you can win anywhere in the world. And Goat Brecker, your dream of a 500 World Championship may be even more realistic than we thought before.
Well, I sure hope so. I've been working hard, and I'm pretty happy with the way I'm riding. I've been off 2 years, and I had a hard second motor that I just couldn't get going, and Billy rode well, and hopefully I'll improve next week and do a better ride.
How about that battle with Billy Frank? That's what it's all about, right? In the final motor, the 2 guys with the most to win and lose head-to-head.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun out there, and Billy had a bad motor, I think, or he gave me a better run for it, but it was a good race anyway.
It was an excellent race, and thanks for a great show.
Thank you very much, and thanks for filming it.
You betcha. Okay, Brock Yates.
Steve, I went Billy Frank, who had to settle for runner-up twice today against Goat, but super hard ride, and it sounded like the motor was starting to go away on you. Is that right?
Yeah, we've been seizing every time we ride it, and at least it lasted through the motor this time, but it was running too rich, and that's the way it goes.
You got a pretty good start, and you held him off for a while, but did you sort of have a feeling that it was just kind of inevitable?
Yeah, well, I rode the 250 class too, and I just ran out of energy like halfway through. I just that was it. And I didn't want to crash, so I just backed off a little.
Bunch of hard
riding really good.
Yeah, I thought this racetrack got pretty hard and dusty, and I would imagine that 4 motos here with the big bikes is that's enough for an afternoon.
Yeah, I think I've had them ready to go home.
Well, super hard ride and great work. Congratulations,
thanks.
Billy. Good
Thanks.
job. Steve?
Well, Tommy, you won CMC's Trans-Cal Series at the end of last season, and a good effort today. I know you'd like to win it, but 3rd against this kind of competition, not bad at all.
Yeah, the track was pretty tough today, and I never did really figure out, the track or my bike, so I couldn't tell my mechanic, what to change. So I take, all the blame for losing today.
It was not an easy track, especially in the late going. A lot of dust in the air and a lot of roost, as they call it, coming off the wheels in front of you.
Yeah, not only that, the sun was just right there in our eyes the whole time on the uphills, and just made it tough to see.
Yeah, our cameramen can attest to that. They're staring into it, too. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, that wraps it up in the 500 class, Brock.
What a day of racing at Carlsbad, California. I'm Brock Yates for Steve Evans. Thanks for joining us at the CMC Dodge Truck Golden State Nationals.
The executive producer for American Sports Cavalcade is Harvey M. Palish. Produced and directed by John B. Mullen. Promotional consideration provided for and a fee paid by the Style Auto World Championship Team, the nation's premier source of fast lane fashions. Style Auto, the champion's choice for the style of your life. The American Sports Cavalcade is a presentation of Diamond V Sports.